Today I want to talk about Tessie. Today I'm going to give you a Tessie update because I haven't done that in a while and because so much has been going on. She's been doing so many new things. It seemed like time. I think that usually Tessie goes to school and she plays so hard with her friends that when she gets home, she is ready to come home and kind of play around with her brothers and sisters. She rides her rocking horse and she gets a lot of her energy out, but she doesn't have that much time to be mischievous because she is mischievous at school. She's going around trying to steal cupcakes and pudding. That's a story I should probably tell today. And stuff like that at school. And so she just doesn't have that same mischievous energy at home. But over Christmas break, we got the full force of her mischievous energy and we really got to see it for the first time. And that is one of the things I want to talk about today. Having Tessie home over Christmas break was a lot of fun. I loved all the time that I got to spend with her. One of the big things that happened though was that she developed a new stim. And if you know me, you know that I love encouraging my kids' stims. I love it when they find new safe stims. And we haven't really had a problem with too many dangerous stims. I guess maybe you could consider eloping a stim for Megs, but other than that, we've been very fortunate. And then we got a new chandelier in our dining room. Basically, our old dining room chandelier had a tendency to have the light bulbs burst into flame. 3 of them burst into flames, and it was basically a matter of I didn't want us to turn it on once the first one did, but the kids kept turning it on, and I didn't really know how to unwire the thing, or I didn't think I did, but finally I did. I figured out how to just unwire the thing, and I replaced it with a new chandelier. I bought, there was a chandelier sale at Home Depot. I got a new chandelier that was that was on sale that I liked, and I put it up there. And as soon as Paul saw it, Paul said, I don't think this is a good idea, because honestly, I think that the old chandelier hadn't really been a problem. Maggie used to twirl it around, but Tessie never messed with the light bulbs. I think part of it was that it was always there, and so she didn't really notice it. It was just part of our house, and so she didn't pay attention to it. But the new chandelier, when it appeared, she was very, very attentive to its existence, and she loved the light bulbs in that thing, and she wanted to stare at them. And even though I'd tell her not to touch them, I would tell her they were hot, I would get her down, I would stop her. She would wait until I was making dinner, till I wasn't paying attention, and she would get back up there. One day, she managed to get one of the bulbs out of the light socket before I got to her, and she dropped it. In that moment, she discovered that she loves the sound of shattering glass. That was when the problem began, because that sound became one of Tessie's favorite sounds. And then we lost a second light bulb. It was time for Christmas. I thought that if the Christmas ornaments were above 6 feet, we would be okay, because we bolt our tree to the floor so that there's no chance any of our kids are going to accidentally knock it over, or anyone. We're all pretty clumsy. I'm clumsy. Accidents happen. We have cats. I don't want anyone to accidentally knock that thing over. So we bolted down, and I thought it would be okay above 6 feet. Maybe Maggie might get them down, but Maggie's pretty good. She doesn't break ornaments on purpose. Maggie might break an ornament because she laid eyes on it. She thought it was pretty. She got it down and an accident happened. Tessie, I knew she wasn't going to get up to 6 feet, or I thought I knew. That overconfidence was misplaced. Our house is pretty kid-proof. We designed our house to be a place where our kids could go all over and be really safe so that they can run around without having to be trailed by an adult all the time. I can watch them, but if they go around a corner, I don't have to worry that they're getting in trouble. Several times a week, when the other kids are at school, Tessie and I go up and we clean Maggie's room and we make sure that it's nice. On this particular day, that's what I was doing. My dad was going to be coming over and he was going to be installing the hardware for a therapy swing in Maggie's room. And I knew that he was on his way, and I wanted to make sure that the floor was really clear and clean of her blankets and that little nest that she makes before he got there. Sure enough, she had pulled down dresses and she had made them into a little nest with her blankets near the closet. So I was folding blankets and hanging up dresses, and I kept calling down to Tessie because it was so weird. She always wants to be in there with me. She loves playing in Maggie's room and bouncing on the beds. So I kept calling down like, Tessie, where are you? Tessie, are you going to come help me? Waiting for her to come running up the stairs. And still, I was thinking, our house is kid-proof. I mean, even all the ornaments on the tree are kid-friendly, the ones that are below 6 feet. Like, where is she? It should have clicked in my head. It really should have, but it just didn't. And all of a sudden I start getting all these texts from my dad, and they're pictures of Tessie. and what she's done, and how she had taken a sofa chair, moved it across the room, pushed it up against the tree, and then how she had used the strings of lights to climb up above the 6 feet mark to the 7.5 feet part, to throw down the star and to start throwing down glass ornaments onto the floor so she could hear them shatter. And that is how Tessie maybe surpassed Maggie as the kid that does adventurous things and gets herself into trouble. So I put Tessie in her high chair on that day, which was about 4 days after we got our tree, and I took down all of the ornaments. And at that point, I realized that we had less than half of the ornaments that we started with. Yeah, we had the rest of the Christmas season with lights on our tree, which actually looked really nice still, I tell myself. So breaking glass. I also removed a link from the chain on our chandelier, and I doubled the chain up and put that link holding the chain up high so that the chandelier is against the ceiling now, so no one can reach it. I mean, I guess Sadie, Paul, and I could reach it if we stood on the chair, but so that the little kids can't reach the light bulbs anymore. Definitely not Tessie, so that's out of reach. And I was told, I wrote a note to her teacher and told her teacher about this. By the way, Tessie's new favorite stim is shattering glass. Thought you should know. And I had a meeting with her yesterday just to hear how she was doing. She told me that the first day of class, she walked in and she took her PEX board and she said, "I want cabinet." And they took her to the cabinet since she'd requested it. And the first thing she did was try to break the glass dishes in the cabinet. Then when they were walking down the hallway, there were a bunch of baby mats with mirrors, and that she reached over and went on the mirrors. They were made of plastics to see if they were glass or plastic. So this is after eloping, if eloping is considered a stim in Maggie's case. My least favorite stim that we've come up through to so far, because it's dangerous, because she could hurt herself by like stepping in glass, or someone else could get hurt. Most of Tessie's stims are my favorite. I love so many of them. I love her spinning and her flipping things over, her flipping sequins over. But this one's been pretty brutal. I think that now that she's back in school and that she's not so bored and just kind of looking for things to do, because she is just always looking for things to get into. I think that now that we aren't facing that problems, we're going to see a lot less of this. It's going to get a lot better. Some of my other favorite things, I love waking up and seeing that Tessie has woken up before us and that she has lined up all of her My Little Ponies all over the place. Baby gates no longer hold Tessie. She still doesn't have a lot of words at home. She is saying more words at school. Her favorite phrase, which is not understandable to strangers, but which I have just realized she's saying, is hold on. She says hold on all the time for everything, which I think is kind of funny because Maggie said come on. Everything Maggie wanted was like come on, which was basically hurry up. It was give me that. It was Maggie used come on for all the time. Tessie used hold on. Like, slow down, just wait, hold on. Which I think kind of shows a lot about the differences in their two personalities. Tessie also apparently uses all done, and the way that hold on and all done sound a lot alike when Tessie says them, but you can tell she's saying all done at school. Her teacher explained to me, because she goes like this with her arm and like slashes downward with her arm when she says all done, which is good to know, although she doesn't usually say all done at home. So if she says it at home, you can pretty safely assume that she's saying hold on. Tessie, one of her other favorite stims is putting her arms up in the air like a ballerina and spinning around, and she likes to look up between her fingertips and watch the light. She likes to do it under a light, and then she goes like that, and she looks up between her fingertips when she's doing it and looks up at the light. She also has a very cute curtsy. Oh, that brings me back to the light bulb. So the last time she broke a light bulb, she went tink, tink, tink. I was in the kitchen again, because this only happens when I'm cooking dinner. And she went tink, tink, tink with a light bulb, which I heard in the kitchen because the table's right there. And I ran out and I reached for the light bulb, and she looked at me before I got there, and she went like that and she dropped it and it didn't break. So I was like, and I reached for it again, and before I could grab it, because she was like on the other side of the table, she kicked it off the table with her little foot. I was like holding my breath, running around the table to see if it had broken, and it had not broken. So I grabbed it and picked it up. As I picked it up, she stood up and she looked at me and she curtsied. Oh my goodness. That was pretty naughty. That might be the naughtiest thing you've ever done in your entire life, Tessie, because it was so obviously intentional, and you looked at me and curtsied when you were done. and I had to try so hard not to laugh. No one got hurt. It feels like, it felt like something out of like a sitcom. I don't know, a sitcom or a cartoon. She has so much personality, and I feel like more and more she is becoming her own little person, independent from everybody else, with her own very strong little personality. And I cannot wait to see more of who she is going to become as she gets older. She loves twirling. Last night, Sadie and I got 2 basketballs. There's 2 basketballs at my mom's house, but they have a basketball hoop, so I didn't want to bring them over to our house because I want us to be able to play basketball when we go there. So I bought 2 basketballs so Sadie and I could do drills at our house. And Sadie and I were practicing together and having fun. And Tessie came over wearing her little pink leotard and skirt. And she was running back and forth between us with the biggest eyes, so excited about the basketballs. And it was the most adorable moment. I know I tell these stories about the things that she's done that are mischievous, but the truth is, most of the time when Tessie's at home, she is amazingly calm and doesn't get into any trouble. And so the times that she does things like this new stem shattering glass, which was honestly like 4 incidences over a month, it stands out really big, which I understand. 4 times doing something over a month isn't a lot for a lot of people. Tessie is most definitely my most laid back and quiet kid. And being her mom, well, it's been stressful in some ways because of things like the central apnea and the things that happened when she was little that were really stressful. Parenting her in terms of her behavior is a lot easier than I expected when she was a newborn, and I started suspecting that she was autistic. I don't know what the future holds for her. I mean, she does have a very strong personality. I'm sure she's going to give me a lot of gray hairs in the future. As of right now, as a 3-year-old, I have been surprised by what being her mom has been like so far. I did expect it to be a lot more hectic than it has been. Overall, her personality is still our kid who goes with the flow, even though apparently at school she's not that way. I have one more story. Oh, this is the best story. This is my favorite story. Okay, so I guess at school, they have little trays, and the trays have like cupcakes on it or pudding, and Tessie will have her own cupcake. But sometimes they'll go to recess, and Tessie will know there's cupcakes in the classroom, and she'll know where they are, and she will try to walk ahead of all the other kids, and then at the last minute she'll take off sprinting, and she will grab a cupcake from like somebody else's desk, and she'll stuff the entire thing in her mouth before anyone can get to her. And that is apparently what Tessie is known for at school. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's so funny though. Anyways, that is it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.